Anyway, so if anyone else has any questions or anything,
Not the moment.
everyone,
No.
marvelous. Feel free to say, "Shut up, Jade. I have a question" at any point during this. So,
Shut up,
last
Jay, I
session.
have
I knew Egg was gonna do
You
it.
knew that was going to happen, didn't you? Like,
I should have expected that. So, last session, you all made your way off the Queensway along to Slanty Tower, where you encountered a new friend who had seemingly attempted to escape this strange realm. A violet fairy dragon, a dragon about the size of a house cat. Bright purple with a very well-oiled mustache and goatee, wearing a belt, a sword, a necklace, a pair of like chainmail gloves, and nothing else. Through a very polite conversation from everyone except Ranik, who was overly aggressive, you managed to garner his aid on the condition that you found the key that would free him from the bird cage that he is currently locked in. So you begin traveling towards Talamy Hill with hopes of finding a young woman there who, as far as Sir Talavar is aware, has said key. Along the way, you guys encountered several strange hobgoblins who seem to almost live or travel on large stilts through the swamp to avoid the water, and had a massive lore dump from Sir Talavar, where he informed you that the actual ruler of this section of the Feywild named Prismere had been locked away by a trio of hags called the Hourglass Coven, and that the section that you are in, hither, a dark, deep swamp, was ruled by Bavlorna Brightstraw, and that the particular things that were stolen from you could possibly be in her possession. You were, of course, informed that Bavlorna Brightstraw is currently living or making her sort of home in the small bullywug, bullywugs being little frog people, which, as pointed out by one of my wonderful players, very reminiscent of that strange frog thing from The Mandalorian. Yes, she was currently making her home with these bullywugs in the center of a small village called Downfall, to the northwest of your current location, past the Brigands Tollway. So, we finished our session as you had just come into view of what is called Talamy Hill, a giant hill about half a mile across and half a mile high, that appears to have several large clown-like shoes attached to the bottom. It is flapping its little feet as it walks around. The hillside is covered with this like damp, dowry, silver green moss, and it sort of like almost blankets the upward slope that gives way towards sort of a craggy ridge at the bottom. Dozens of enormous willow trees dotted the hillside as you approached and swayed in a breeze despite the fact that there was no wind, and you were greeted by the scent of sweet-smelling fruit. You began to make your way up the side of Talamy Hill, and as you did, 3 of those large trees pulled themselves out of the grounds and walked towards you before stopping about 30 feet from you and asking you what your business here was. I believe that the group had elected one of you to speak on behalf of them.
Yeah. Luggage
You got
just
this, Egg.
shoves Albert Eggmeister in front of everyone. It says go.
I may
Yeah,
have
Albert,
heard
you're-
in thrusting the person who can't lie forward, but why not?
I can lie.
Yes.
You can lie.
Alright, what did the...
Well, he can lie, he just can't keep secrets.
Sorry, yes, you corrected me on that last week as well.
The specific definition of what I would consider a secret will be determined when I hear the lie. It'll vary from lie to lie.
Yeah. Thanks.
Right.
It's hard to distinguish between a lie and a secret, so we'll see how things go. So, Albert, you are suddenly at the front of the group as everyone else takes a single step back, exposing you in front of these three giant willow trees with like these old wizened faces. All of them are smiling at you. They don't seem threatening. They seem genuinely, how would I describe it? Not pleased that you're here, but welcoming at the very least. They seem like they're prepared to invite you in, so long as you are friendly.
Okay. What was the question they asked again?
One of them said, "Welcome to Telemi Hill. Might I ask your business and how long you?" He gets distracted with a butterfly as it goes past. "Plan to stay."
What's wrong with talking so long?
Hello, I am Albert Eggmeister and friends. We are here to
As you get halfway through that sentence and you see the one that you were talking to sort of look confusedly at you, turn to the guy to the left, turn to the one to the right, and just sort of they all shrug at each other like,
Oh no, they sent us the stupid one to talk to.
they all seem
Love you,
confused by
Egg.
this.
Sorry, do you want me to go through everyone? Alright, this is Luggage. This is Zenfire.
I think he's having a stroke.
Mizz Snap.
Someone's in an ambulance. Fucking Egg.
This is Ranik.
Yep, there we go. Stroke is in full force.
We are here looking for a key for our friend Dragon Person.
If I
Cage
might
here.
stop you briefly,
Please.
why are you talking like that? If that's how you talk, it's fine. But if you're mimicking us, it's quite insulting, actually. But it's a pleasure to meet you.
We waited a week for this beginning of D&D, and this is what we're getting.
This is all that I could have hoped for and more.
I'm sorry.
Look,
This
it's okay. Is this your first time talking to some trees?
yes, it is. The trees I normally talk with.
It's okay. This isn't my real voice either. People just don't like it when I speak normal like, so I gotta talk like this. Cause you see, if I talk like this, it sounds real weird. People don't expect a willow tree to talk like this. And it's a bit strange, mate. People get thrown off. Like, really?
I think you have a lovely
completely
speaking voice.
understand. I think you should talk however you want to talk.
Oh yeah, cheers, Cobber. Anyway, you're gonna want to be talking to Jingle Jangle the Goblin. She likes keys. So what you're gonna want to do? Head straight up the top of the hill. You'll see a hole in the ground. It's like a little mossy pit. Head in there. You'll see the door. Head straight down. Can't miss it. Just know that if you cause any ruckus, we'll be right up there. And I'd rather not king hit ya, so just don't. Simple as that, mate.
Why does he sound like a fancy bogan?
Bogan tree.
Otherwise, you have a bloody good day, mate, and we'll catch you around. Do you guys need anything?
Thanks for your help. We won't be too long.
Oh,
Thank you
yeah,
very much.
anytime.
There are his friends' essays.
Thank you. I can't wait to watch
So
this
good.
back. Oh my god. Oh.
The slow-mo dude turned into a bone.
They turn and begin to walk away. Egg, would you have liked to have asked? Would
Please tell me
you
they've
have
got
asked
like
their
cigarettes
name?
in a thong on as
at
they
any
walk
point?
away with a packet of fucking cigarettes in their sleeve.
No.
It'd be Newports. It has to be Newports.
I would like to know their name.
No, I didn't. Well, that's all right.
Okay.
You can say something hilarious. All right.
Oh,
Wait, what's your name?
yes, please.
What's
It's
the
only
handle,
right.
mate? It feels wrong me saying that.
So, the three in front of you, he turns back around and says, "Oh, right, sorry, mate. I should have introduced myself. My name's Damo.
Oh my
This
god!
bloke here to my
It
left,
is.
this bloke here to my left, that's Steve-O. And bloke here to my right, that's Big Kev."
Big Kev. Is he excited? Please tell me he's excited.
Big Kev is just sort of standing there with like his chin up a bit. He's got his arms crossed.
Oh, someone watches
He's
too
sort of
much Johnny
staring you guys down a little bit.
Hey Jay,
Big
shut up! I
Kev-
have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Are these named after Jackass?
No, they're
No,
named
they're
after
not.
Sunnyvale.
I genuinely Googled Australian bogan names and just
Yep.
went for the top three. And the top three genuinely were Damo, Steve-O, and Big Kev.
Hell yeah.
So I just went with those.
So can I just add into this mix that my first name's Damien, so I get Damo all the time, and I thought you'd been looking at Facebook.
Oh,
I didn't know
So
that.
actually,
actually.
no.
Sweat and just going,
My
Oh my
name's
god!
God.
Steven. So I get
Everyone
Steven.
you said is
Yeah.
off Housos.
yeah.
I've never
Housos.
actually. I've
Big
watched
Kev is
a
the
little
Kiwi
bit of
dude.
Housos, but
So this just in our
isn't he?
just in
Oh,
our party,
Yes,
we've got,
that's why I'm like, you picked all the names from Housos.
and I don't know if you caught Egg, but his first name is Steven, so you've got a Damo.
Oh,
and a Steve-O.
God, what have I done?
Didn't know we had a couple of
That-
bugs in
That is good.
Oh, so that there was an extra level of laughing my ass off with that. I'm like, you
was
serious? What a stitch up!
I'm going to be entirely honest. I've prepped more for this one conversation than I have the rest of this campaign.
How did you know?
Because we
Oh.
purposed out how much we wanted to have this conversation.
Oh yeah, I was invested in this conversation. Oh,
You guys were so excited. I was like, I got to
God.
make this memorable. This is going to be a
Oh,
moment.
it
Anyway,
didn't disappoint.
so Damo, Steve-O, and Big Kev wander off to go chat to Tony Two Thongs Calamati. Oh yeah, my list doesn't end with those three guys. Every tree on this hill has a name.
Oh, Jesus
Oh my
Christ.
God, I gotta get
no.
all their handles.
Oh. Trees are going to become the new frog. You're just going to be walking around just going, "Hey,
Oh, I love
anyone
it.
there? What's your name?"
Now I'm conditioned to ask trees their names, if they're sentient or not.
Oh,
Oh, so good.
oh,
So, as you
Jesus.
begin walking up the hill, so as you're walking up, your wonderful ally Sir Talavar says, "Well, I do believe that there is something I haven't. Has anyone explained to you the rules yet?
No.
The
We got
the
told the
of
rules, but not
conduct?
very well explained.
Well, there are three of them, really. The rule of hospitality, the rule of ownership, and the rule of reciprocity. It's very simple. The rule of hospitality simply states that when a friend, an enemy, or a stranger enters your home, you are expected to be gracious and accommodating to them until such a time as they prove, by their words or actions, undeserving of such hospitality. Now, I know for a fact that all three of the hags do still indeed follow this rule. The second one is the rule of ownership. You must not steal from a friend, an enemy, or a stranger. To take something that doesn't belong to you without the rightful owner's permission is a crime, and, if I do say so myself, an unforgivable breach of etiquette. And the rule of reciprocity is, well, exactly what it says. When a friend, an enemy, or a complete stranger, again, offers you a gift, you are obliged to accept it and offer something of comparable value, be that a gift or a service in return. Such reciprocation need not actually happen immediately either. It can happen sometime down the track, as long as you pay your debts, if you will. I would hope that you five would be following all the first rule of hospitality does not really apply to you. However, should you enter someone's abode, you should expect them to treat you with gracious courtesy and be accommodating the entire time. And yes, the rules of ownership and reciprocity.
Well, the second
That
rule
being
was kind of
said,
broken against us. Just saying.
yes. Unfortunately, Zybilna was the one who actually enforced the rules, and now that she's kind of frozen in time in her castle, there's no one to do them. So technically, well, the people of Prismia aren't entirely sure exactly what they can and can't get away with. Brigands steal people, steal from people left, right, and center, but they still graciously invite you into their homes. It's strange and uneven. Just be aware that there are rules in place. Whether or not they actually mean anything anymore is, well, that's up for debate. But I figured you'd best know them.
Thank you, Sir Tulliver.
Oh, anytime. Wouldn't want you to embarrass me after all.
Is there
Too late.
anything else? Is there anything else we should know?
Not really. Oh, your mood. It can shape the world around you. Zybilna was emotional. If you're in a good mood, you will find that Prismia reacts positively. And a bad mood, well, you get the idea. Just be aware that
Yeah.
abstract concepts hold more power than steel and magic here in Prismia.
Good thing I
As
don't
he
use
says
steel.
that, Egg, you think back to the good chuckle that you had a moment ago. And as you walk past, you see there's like a little pond that you're walking past with a little frog on it, and the frog croaks. The croak of the frog sounds an awful lot like the words "I love you."
Aww.
Aw. You know how bad he needed to hear that right now.
I love you too, little froggy.
The frog just hops away. The frog didn't appear to be looking at any one person. He just appeared to be addressing the group. Like the frog just told the group. Like it was strange.
It was
Anyway.
lovely. And what was the frog's
I love
name?
you anyway.
You
The
wish
frog
mate.
hopped away before you could.
Big Kev.
Little Kev.
As you approach the top of Telemy Hill, moving past dozens of willow trees on the way, some of them sentient, moving, some of them planted in the ground, appearing asleep or in some sort of strange stasis or something, you come to what looks like a large set of worn stone steps that leads down into what feels like it might be a cellar. Would you all like to enter?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it now?
Is
Here's the
there,
question:
like,
is
a
the door
door?
closed or open?
Ooh.
It is open. There is no door, it appears.
Then I
Okay,
think
yeah.
I'd like to knock 3 times.
No, there's no door. I don't have to knock.
Yeah, you don't have to,
Okay,
bro.
you
I think
knock
said it
on
was
the
open.
entranceway. There is no door.
Yeah.
Just being
No,
hospitable. Is this is
You're going to someone else's place.
this is
This
where we were
does
told to
appear to
go,
be the
wasn't
only
it? For Jingle Jangle.
Yes,
This
the
is where
sort of
we need to go and see Jingle Jangle.
the trail stops here, and you are at the top of the hill, and it appears to lead down into the hill itself.
That's what we're here for.
So, as you descend, it feels like a cellar. It's chilly in here, and you detect the subtle scent of iron in the air. From a distant spot within the chamber, sputtering candles illuminate a multitude of keys dangling from taut strings that crisscross the walls. Hundreds of other keys just lie strewn across the dirt floor of the room at the bottom. As you take in this strange scene, you hear the sound of keys jingling, as a goblin emerges from the dimness. She wears a coat lined with, you guessed it, metal keys and carries a nasty-looking flail that has padlocks instead of metal heads. She manages a faint smile and says, "How might Jingle Jangle unlock a bit of happiness in your lives today?"
I speak Goblin, so in order to build a bit of rapport, could I greet her in Goblin? You said she was a Goblin, didn't you?
It is a goblin, so she stands. You've been informed that it's a female. She stands
Mhm.
about 3.5 foot tall. She has pale, humanish skin, like tan, like white skin, big green eyes, a massive smile, a big, almost pig-like nose. You can see that she wears sort of like tattered robes underneath her large coat of keys. And she has 2 massive ears, bigger than elf ears. They're maybe 3 times as long as her actual head is.
All the better to hear you
You
with,
can
my
see
dear.
she's quite skinny and a little bit not
Jeez.
weak, but a little more on the skinny side.
Well, then, if I could, as not patronizingly, but to give you the description of the action, I'd like Luggage to go down on one knee, like talking to a small child, taking himself down to that level, seeing as how he's 10 feet tall, and politely greet the Jingle Jangle and express a appreciation of meeting her in her home, and ask if we can continue the rest of the conversation in common.
Jingle Jangle, do you say that in Goblin?
Yep, the initial.
Jingle Jangle looks at you and returns in Goblin. Oh, well, thank you very much. That's quite kind of you. But please, I speak common as well as yourselves do. I'm happy. Jingle Jangle is more than happy to continue the conversation in common.
I turn to Ranik. What are they saying?
Jingle Jangle says that last bit. The
They're
Jingle
speaking
Jangle
common.
is happy to say it in common. The rest of it's in Goblin, though.
And overhearing that was just expressing our appreciation of being welcome into her home.
So, if I might ask, what does bring you into my home, new friends? What can Jingle Jangle do for you today? Jingle Jangle is quite useful. Jingle Jangle has lots of keys.
Yeah, they're very nice keys, might I say. It looks very nice in here.
Oh,
And-
you don't have to flatter. They're just keys. Some of them are quite shit. Look at this one. She reaches over the wall and points to like a really broken key that's like all rusted and old. I don't know what that's for, but it doesn't look great, does it? Yeah, look, that's a piece of garbage.
While all that conversation's happening, I'm going to reach. I think I've been carrying Sir Tolliver, but if not, bring him out and go, Jingle Jangle, we need to get this cage open. We believe you have the key.
Oh, of course. Well, if you give me some time to have a look through, might I have a look at the bird cage? She reaches
Please
up for
do.
the bird. As she takes it, she holds it. Ah! Oh, there's a thing in it. I didn't expect it to speak. So Tulliver
Well-
just, like, the cage is just thrown to the ground. So Tulliver just,
Oh, no.
yes, hello. Hello.
Sir
you have
Tolliver,
such-
Jingle Jangle, Jingle Jangle, Sir Tolliver.
Nice facial hair for a lizard. How odd. She picks up the cage. It's quite well made. It's a silver cage. I'm sure Jingle Jangle has the key that you could want. Give Jingle Jangle about 30 minutes to have a look through her collection, and Jingle Jangle will see if she has what you require. And of course, better you should have it than those long-eared brigands. They stole Jingle Jangle's truffles, don't you know? Next, they'll want Jingle Jangle's keys, she says as she's wandering off. Someone ought to give them a good shaking down so they know what it feels like when they attack Jingle Jangle. People shouldn't attack Jingle Jangle. Jingle Jangle will whack it with a padlock, but Jingle Jangle didn't have her padlock. Jingle Jangle only had keys and they took my truffles. Jingle Jangle can find more truffles. It's
Are
okay.
you okay, Jingle Jangle?
Can I
you
do
know
a
when you're
perception check
talking
of the
to
room?
someone- Go ahead and make me a perception check if you wanna help Jingle Jangle.
No, still.
You know when you're
It's 11.
you know when you're having a conversation with someone, and during that conversation, there are like natural breaks for you to sort of like intercept and jump in with like own thoughts and opinions, and that's how a conversation goes. Jingle Jangle does not take a second to breathe. Jingle Jangle talks the entire 30 minutes. If any of you say anything, Jingle Jangle stops talking the moment you do. and then continues talking, completely ignoring whatever you said. Jingle Jangle is completely focused on Jingle Jangle's keys.
I love Jingle Jangle, and they must be protected at all costs.
People will die for Jingle Jangle.
I will
Those-
die for her.
Those bloody rabbits.
So what did you get in your perception check, Ranik?
I got a 11.
11. You see lots of things in here. Most of them keys. You do see a small kitchen in the back with like some heaped up dishes that they have to be done. A small table in the middle of the room with like a couple of chairs sized to Jingle Jangle. You do see a door, the one that Jingle Jangle came out of when you first entered, that appears to go into some sort of small sleeping chamber, but it's very sparse, simple dwelling that Jingle Jangle has here. As you sort of like pick through the keys, you pick for maybe 5-10 minutes when you hear Jingle Jangle say, found it! And pulls from the wall a very ornate, gorgeous-looking silver key with like gold inlay along it. Jingle Jangle sits Sir Talavar on the ground, slides the key in, turns the key, and the bird cage, and the door to Sir Talavar's cage opens. Sir Talavar steps out. He sort of walks out a little bit. You see him like stretching his wings and well, it's quite cramped in there, don't you know? Don't know if you've ever been stuck in a bird cage, but they are not made for things that aren't birds. Whoo-wee.
I'll add it to the list, brother.
Well,
Thank you, Jingle Jangle.
Keep that in mind.
Thank you.
of course, whatever you need, Jingle Jangle is happy to be of service. Jingle Jangle has lots of keys, don't you know? I like keys. Do you have any keys? I do like keys.
What
If
would you like?
If I do a
I
pass,
had any,
see if I
they
have
would
any
be
keys.
yours.
What would you like in return?
What would I like it? I mean, if you would like to help Jingle Jangle, Jingle Jangle does. Well, here's the thing. Ogden Longscarf, some of his brigands attacked me recently, and well, they.
Mm-hmm.
Jingle Jangle, you see, was digging for truffles in the swamp when a bunch of haranguians leapt out from behind the reeds and shrubbery. They took Jingle Jangle's truffles, threw Jingle Jangle down in the mud, and whacked Jingle Jangle with their wooden clubs. It was quite mean, all things considered. Now, I know that
Jingle.
Telemi Hill is well defended, so I'm not concerned about my own well-being. I have the trees to keep me safe. But, should you have perhaps a bag of truffles or something good to drink? Or maybe a tasty snack, or you vow to avenge the abuse that I suffered at the hands of those damn
Hell
haranguians.
nah. I ain't problem with my snacks.
Then Jingle Jangle is happy to accept any of these in payment. However, should you not have anything like that, Jingle Jangle is more than happy for you to simply take the key and be on your way. It is no bother to Jingle Jangle. Jingle Jangle is simply being of use.
I'll give Jingle Jangle my 1-day rations.
Oh, thank you. It's like hardtack and jerky. Like it's like rations is not like, you know, it's like nuts, hardtack, like maybe a couple of raisins. Like it's not like the best food. Jingle Jangle takes the food to your own. Oh, thank you so much. We eat well tonight. You see, Jingle Jangle has a stocked pantry with fresh fruit and vegetables and fresh cuts of meat. But Jingle Jangle seems so excited about the rations that you just gave her. She puts them on the back counter and says, "Oh, thank you so much. Tell me, would you be looking for a place to sleep for the evening? Jingle Jangle has plenty of room within here if you'd like to stay for yourselves and the fairy and the little fairy dragon. If you would like, however, you could always stay outside Jingle Jangle's hut with the trees."
Ooh, the tree. Ooh, I'm actually quite
Yes.
torn. Can I sleep in and out? Can I be like in the doorway, halfway in, halfway out?
While that decision's being made, Jingle Jangle, the haranguians that you encountered, did they by any chance beat you black and blue?
Oh, yes. Of course they did.
We have met
Why do you ask?
we have met those brigands, and I'll just leave it at that. I won't make her any promises. Just gonna file that bit of information away.
Okie dokie. Well, that seems like an odd thing to just offer, but yes, they're a scourge. But you get used to it after a while. It's okay. Things happen.
I do hope that we see them again.
I am gonna go outside
well,
and
things happen.
see if I can find. I'm not gonna chop any wood, but if there's any tree like branches on the ground and start forming a fire pit.
You walk outside.
Wait, is that a good idea to start burning there?
You start picking up tree branches, and you
I'm
see
gonna
Big
ask.
Kev is sort of just like standing with his arms crossed next to the entrance. He's leaning on the tree, sort of. You're looking around for it. You pick up like a couple of twigs, and Big Kev looks at you and goes, "Oh yeah, what you looking for there, mate?"
Looking for firewood.
Ranik, don't piss off Big Kev.
Oh, righto. Big Kev just reaches up, grabs like him, and just snaps them off, and just hands them to you. These are like long. Like you cannot carry one of them. They are huge. Like he is a large tree. Like he is a fully grown like willow tree. He just oh right. He sort of like places them on the ground as far as like Captain America style, just splitting them in half for you over and over again. He makes you a very nice pile of firewood.
I'm gonna yell out, "Hey Butler, come help me grab these."
Oh,
You see Damo wanders back over while this is happening, Ranik, and says, "Oh yeah, I heard that you were gonna help our friend in there, mate.
Yeah.
You gave us some food. That's real nice here. Hey, Jingle dropped this key a little while ago. You might find some use for it. And you see a little vine comes down with a single iron key on it. Let's just look.
Alright.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
I grab it. Thank you very much.
Look. Let's just say key will probably be useful later. Damo winks, turns, and walks away.
Wait, do you want anything in return?
Damo does not turn back.
Damo
is singing a song that, due to Twitch copyright rules, I cannot even name.
Hey, they've been getting a little bit more lax. I'm just saying.
Appreciate that.
I know for a fact
With my
that
branches back and forth.
the person who owns that song is not. So we're gonna move right along.
Can you put it in the Discord chat so we can see it? What song it was supposed to be?
I will after this. I don't have Discord open at the moment.
Okay.
It is. I will say that it is a. I think I can. Yeah, it's a John Williamson song.
Okay.
Yeah, an Australian
my suggestion
classic.
better.
I think I know what it's about. Does it involve wood chips in some way, shape, or form?
It involves a certain type of tree and some gum.
would give me a home among the Big Kev
Gotcha. I was thinking of a different one.
with lots of Damo.
Oh.
Something like that.
I was thinking
okay.
another classic of his with the ripping and ripping of timber into
Wouldn't you
wood
rather
chips.
macabre for Damo to be singing that though?
Well, that's why I
That
thought
would be
it
a
was
song of murder
good.
for them. Spar, what the hell?
He's just reached up and ripped his limbs off. I figured that if there was going to be irony amongst the bogans, that it'd be pretty funny for a tree to rock off singing that song.
So, you all make camp. I presume you set up your tents and various bedrolls. The trees.
I just want to make sure this is very well known. We make the fire pit in such a way that it will not catch anything else on fire.
Oh, the trees don't seem that bothered. Big Kev helps you sort of like set up the fire pit and build like this large, almost like bonfire that's like 10 feet by 10 feet wide and about 10 feet high. Like it's a big bonfire he builds for you. He even personally lights it
Sounds like
using
my
like two of
bogan
his
game
like
night.
twig fingers. All the trees at various points sort of just wander off. They're wandering around as there is no sun here in hither, but it does get dark as the day passes. It's strange. There is clearly a day-night cycle of some variety, but there's no sun or moon to govern that day-night cycle. It's a strange effect of the Feywild, you think, but it does eventually hit night. The fire is lit, and each of the willow trees, one by one, settles down, re-roots themselves in the ground, and seems to go into that strange sleep that they do. Would any of you like to do anything before you rest?
Um,
I'm pulling cyclonic blades and just testing. This is new to me, so I'm trying throwing them
hey,
at like
play.
a
yeah,
log that we have chopped. So testing my accuracy.
I would
Yeah,
like to. Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. Ranik, you're a good shot. Like you're good with knives. That's kind of your whole thing. You can fight up close with knives. You can fight at range with knives. You're just generally a sort of knife guy. That's sort of where your skill set leans itself to, what it leans itself towards. Throwing these knives it's strange. If you know anything about Star Wars, it's almost like trying to use a lightsaber where a lot of using weapons is about the balance and the weight of it, but you're fighting with weapons that have no balance and no weight. They're literally weightless for you to throw and stab and that with. So it does take you a while to get used to it. Every now and again you hit dead on the tree with one of these psychic blades, and you sort of like in that split second where you blink, you look at the tree and there's no damage done because the blades don't leave a physical mark on surfaces because they are made of pure like psychic energy. It's hard to sort of gauge your skill level without being in proper combat with the creature, but you're confident that at least some level of your current training will carry over, but you do manage to get a decent amount of time in. The biggest hurdle for you is dealing with the fact that it's hard to like balance weapons for throwing that don't have a weight to balance, if that makes sense.
Well, if you've seen, I'm not sure if you've seen the latest episode of Book of Boba Fett, but it's kind of like when I think it was the episode of last week or the week before when Din Djarin was using the dark saber, how he accidentally hit himself.
Yes,
You're not used to not having any weight on the end of the handle. Just get your leg.
I thought you were going to say it was like a Mandalorian knife, like they have that sort of shimmers as you.
Well, no, that's completely different. This one's a psychonic, so it doesn't have weight, kind of like a lightsaber. But yes, Jay, you talked to the biggest Star Wars nerd in the freaking group right now, the one who reminded you of.
I'm an
of
episode
the
behind on the Mandalorian, so no spoilers. Episode behind here.
Yep.
Okay, I will be quiet.
But yeah, no, but I do. Yeah, so anyone who knows anything about Star Wars would know that using a lightsaber for someone who doesn't have the Force is difficult because there's no weight to the weapon. So your psionic blades are very similar. There's no weight to them. It's difficult. You do realize too that whilst your common thing is knives, at one point you bring your hand back and launch it forward, and for some reason you're sort of like going through motions of like just like practicing by yourself against like invisible imaginary enemies, and you're sort of like imagining how you would go against someone with like a great axe, and you leap backwards and go to like throw one of these like psionic daggers, but instead a massive psionic great axe appears, hurdles end over end and shatters against the tree, and you sort of are briefly taken aback by that as you sort of realize that the actual shape and design of your weapon seems to be very fluid in terms of like simply what you and whatever you are thinking of at the time, they sort of seem to almost manifest as.
That's cool. So
it's a very flowing sort of like system.
So I could use a rapier.
Yes. I will point out that is simply flavor. The damage they do is the damage they do, but for the sake of describing your weapons, you can summon and use your psionic blades with whatever description of flair you would like.
Okay, cool. I do have one more game style question.
Yes.
Now, since it's psychic, can I make it go through things and then reform, and then it continue on and hit something, or is it just like
no?
Once it hits,
I'm afraid
no.
Once it hits, it hits. It does have a semi-physical form. It's almost like I don't want to keep using references, but almost like Avatar: The Last Airbender with Aang's airbending, where it is simply air. It is a semi-solid, but it just doesn't deal damage like a solid weapon would.
Okay.
Once it hits, it sort of dissipates, and it's more the energy entering their mind that physically mentally hurts them, as opposed to the blade that you form cutting into their flesh. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It's hard to describe. Even Ranik, even you're sort of still struggling. You probably still don't know 100% how this magic functions. It's very much a state of, I don't know how this works. but it does. So
I ain't gonna
Shrug.
question it.
like you have this fantastic new weapon at your disposal. So how much you want to look into how it works and where it comes from is entirely up to you, sir.
Oh, I think I spent enough time. So after that, I'm
yeah,
gonna
but you spend a
roll
few
up.
hours practicing with them in various ways.
Rennick, oh,
Luggage.
sorry. Yeah, Rennick, may we see the key that that you received?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
reached in my coat pocket and
I will
pull it
point
out.
out, Rennick, you were alone when you received
Oh, I thought
that
we went
key.
up with him. Sorry, my bad.
No,
my
Yeah,
bad.
he was with
no,
me. I
that
called
was
him over
sort
to
of
help
like
pick up.
Yeah, I thought I got
Oh,
called
he
over
was?
to help
Okay,
carry the
all
timber.
good then.
Yeah,
I
I
was
said
going to say
butler.
it's entirely up
Yes.
to. Okay, well, it's up to the two of you whether or not that information was shared with anyone else.
Then yeah, if he asked me to show it, I was gonna show them anyways. Once
Yep,
I
all
settled
good.
down for the night.
No issue then. Please continue. I apologize.
Here's the
Could
key. This is
everyone-
the key that what was his name again?
Damo.
Damo.
Big Kev.
Sorry, these
Oh
names.
yeah,
aren't-
sorry.
thought it was-
Damo
You
gave
said
you the key.
Damo. He
These
said
names aren't
Damo.
Damo,
as
yeah, sorry.
usable for
Damo
me.
gave you the key. Big Kev was helping with the firewood.
Yeah.
So, Damo
Big
gave me
Kev
this
stabbed
key.
someone with
Said
his
might
armpit
help us
hair,
later
and
on.
Damo gave his key.
And I'm just wondering if each of us can take a look at it. And Jay, I need your guidance here with whatever our best thing is, whether it's insight or
Perception?
investigation or whether we each have to look at it the same way. Because I'd like to do an insight check to see if if that's the right one. See if I recognize it.
So
anything
I'll
about it.
Yeah, I'll sort of give a little bit of clarification now just for the future to help you guys be a little bit better informed. So insight
Yep.
is specifically for people or creatures. It's reading intentions.
Right.
So it's sort of like reading a person, figuring out if they're lying, if they're trustworthy.
Okay.
Perception is sort of used for like, oh, are there enemies sneaking up on me? Are there things in the
So
distance?
this
And
would
then
be investigation then?
Right.
investigation is the specific like details, like, oh, I'm looking at a lockbox and I need to figure out like how to do this specific puzzle or something. Now, if you are
Investigation, then.
trying to figure out if this key has magical properties, that will be Arcana. And then obviously all of your other skills like nature and that are essentially more niche versions of those. So, if someone's proficient in nature, they might make a nature check instead of an investigation when inspecting a very specific
I
thing.
understand.
So sort of like, yeah, generally those are the skills that we'll rely on the most, but the other skills will come into play at various points. So what specifically do you want to figure out about the key is my question. Like, what is your goal?
I'm looking to see if we can recognize anything about it that might stand out or give an indication of where it may be useful. Does it appear to be perhaps a prison key or I don't know anything about the key, and I thought if everyone gets to have a look at it and knows that it's there, we've at least done a little bit of investigation into it whenever, so that we're all as a group aware of it for when we may need it.
So that's definitely an option. Anyone who wants to inspect the key can go ahead and make me an investigation roll.
All right.
I'll say Ranik, your
Is anyone going to do an Arcana check in case? Maybe.
She has a lot of keys though, and that's just one random one.
Yeah,
I got a nat 20.
To fill you in, it was indicated that it may be useful to us in the future by the wise and benevolent Damo.
Benevolent.
Wise and benevolent Damo.
I'm sorry, Ranik, did you say you got a nat 20?
I got a nat 20 on investigation check on this key. I know who
what
made
is
it.
what is your total?
I rolled a 3.
I will clarify something, and this is a very common, not mistake, but I guess misunderstanding, depending on who you play with. And that is that natural 20s on anything except attacks aren't actually any more special. They're good rolls. You rolled the maximum that you can, but you can roll a nat 20 and still very easily fail if you have like a -3 to something, or if you have a +2, but the DC is 25, a natural 20 is only going to be a 22, you're still going to fail that thing. So just so that you know,
21.
Yeah, I do need the total, but a 21 is still very good.
I rolled a 3, so
You guys are level 3.
I-
3
I-
for
I-
Luggage.
The
Shit.
plus one. My intelligence is a +1. All my shit's in dexterity, my guy.
My intelligence is -1, so I rolled a 4 and it went down to 3.
Yeah,
My investigation was shit.
rogues are primarily built around dexterity, but their other dexterity and then all of their mind-based stats, particularly wisdom and intelligence, are probably the two most important secondary skills for a rogue. Because generally, a rogue is sort of like the person. If you go into a dungeon, the rogue's the one leading the way. He's the one looking for and disabling traps and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But I think your
wisdom
rogue
and
is more
intelligence.
charisma.
Yeah, I have +3 in dexterity,
That'd be
+1
right.
in intelligence, wisdom, and charisma, and a -1 in a strength, and a +2 in constitution.
Okay,
I know-
so
I
I
know
really
rogues
need
are
to
three.
send you
squishy,
to
so I
see if you
wanted
can
some
shut
extra
up
help.
Damo so he tells us more about the key.
Damo is asleep, it appears.
Yeah, we're not waking
Even
up.
better.
This is the trick.
No,
I
you
will
wake the
say,
tree up.
did anyone else roll, and what did you get?
I suppose
I
I'll
haven't
roll.
yet
Good.
rolled.
While they're doing
You don't
that, I
have
just
to.
look at it.
If you don't think the character would.
I just look at it and go, "It's a key."
I got an 11.
That's what I got with the 3.
I'm just
And
playing my
11.
lyre by the bonfire or something.
Paladin,
easy
a
as
musical
Albert.
paladin.
I'm just sharpening my hand axes. Yeet and yah yeet.
I'm holding the key up the wrong way because apparently I don't even know how it works.
Looking at the key, Luggage, it does just look like a normal key to you.
Yeah,
A key looks like a key. It's a key.
Mhm.
Ranik, you sort of like eventually managed to get the key off Luggage. And looking over it, you can see there's a little bit of rust on it. You sort of like managed to get that off, but to you, Ranik, it just looks like a normal iron key. There's nothing. There's genuinely nothing special. It's not ornate. There's nothing about the design of the key that's special. It has a circle on one end, a key head on the other, and it's a key. It doesn't appear to be anything. It's the key that unlocks Sir Tulliver's cage was this beautiful ornate thing. You saw keys in there that were glowing. They clearly have magical power to them. Some of them were gorgeous. Some of them were old. This just looks like a very boring key. It looks genuinely just. It's just a key.
Then I'm gonna do an Arcana check on it too.
Yeah.
That's
You can go ahead and
a
do that.
4.
That's a 4.
I know it's a key, but man, I don't know what's magical.
You sort of like reach out with your newfound psionic powers, and it takes you maybe an hour to sort of like try to attune to if there is any magic in this key, attempt to reach out and read it. You get a good grasp of like reaching out with your ability, like with your newfound abilities, but you also are smart enough, we'll say, to know that there's a difference between arcane magic and psionic ability. Your abilities are psionic, so you just don't think that this is necessarily within your skill realm. So you just can't tell with your particular skill set and specifically your particular power set. It's not really something that you're really equipped to determine, I'm afraid. So yeah, you it could be, it may be, but you would need to get someone a little more skilled in Arcana to take a long look at it. You all would know that even the lowest level of wizards have spells at their disposal to, you might say, identify, wink wink, as he lists the name of the exact spell you would need, magical items.
Does anybody else want to take a crack at seeing if this is magical or not?
I
'Cause
just,
I ain't got nothing.
I'm good.
I've all it looks like is a key to me.
It's made of
Does
iron.
anyone have spells?
I don't have
Hint,
identify
hint, you
magical
don't
One
need
items.
to
that
be a
you
wizard.
may
Do
or may not
Arcana
have
check.
mentioned.
Hint. If we don't have a wizard,
Slowly picking up on the very subtle hints that are being
All right.
dropped.
I'll do an Arcana check
I
because
don't
I've got
have
a massive
anything.
+1 bonus.
So
Right.
essentially
I
the way
do
I
an
work it is
Arcana. Yep.
anyone can make an Arcana check. You can figure out if it's magical or not, but the information
Sure.
you can gain if you're not an arcane caster or have the resources there is just very limited. There's an upper limit on what you can learn. If you had a caster, the sky's the limit when it comes to this sort of stuff, but with a group who doesn't necessarily know arcane magic, the amount of information I will give you is sparse.
A sorcerer. It's arcane.
Fairy sorcerer. Let's go.
Yeah,
I got a
of everyone here.
17.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, okay, right,
Do you
17.
have the identify magical items spell?
No.
Okay.
Snack,
sorcerers don't really have
you,
many,
you
spells.
get your hands on the key. As you grab the key, it shrinks down to your size. You
We're
go
never getting
over it.
back.
You reach out with your arcane gifts. This inherent magic that you have about you. Unlike wizards who study for their magic and warlocks who make deals, you just have your powers. Your powers are just yours to use. They don't come from anywhere except you. They're just something you always have. You reach out and you are exceptionally confident that this is, to repeat myself again, it genuinely just seems to be a key. Now, as far as you can tell, there's nothing magical. You hand it over to Zenfire, and sure enough,
Keys are the new fog.
Zenfire, after about 5 hours, as one by one, every member of the party takes a look at the key, it finally gets to
Zenfire
Zenfire.
would like to say something.
I'm not looking.
Zenfire,
Yes.
you look over the key, and
I have
yeah,
beautiful. I'm gonna look up from sharpening like Yeetus and Deletus. I'm gonna put down my sharpening stone. I'm gonna look at the key. I'm gonna ponder for a second and then look at the rest of the group and go, did we not pass a bunch of nasty looking rabbit things that had maybe some sort of cage type thing they were dragging along? And I wonder perhaps if this key might not help us obtain access to said cage thing they were dragging.
Good point. Perhaps.
And I wonder then if we were to chase them down, would we find truffles in there? Among other things.
But what did Zenfire see with his 17?
just a key.
Dang it! You're building us to maybe he might see something. We just wasted so much time on it.
Not really.
Yeah, you guys
Okay, I
wasted
just had
about
an idea.
4 or 5 hours total.
Yeah, we need to get a
on
rest.
What appears to be just a
Once I hand it
normal
off,
hour.
I'm rolling up and going to sleep. They'll tell me in the morning.
Yep.
Easy
So
as.
I'm actually just going to go into sentry mode. So for future reference, anytime we're sleeping, I'm technically still awake and alert. So you guys don't
Yep.
need to rotate through a sentry. I know here we appear to be safe, but for future reference, feel free to sleep throughout the night without having to do sentry rotations. And
You gotta love
I'm powering down.
Forge. So, you all lay down and get yourselves a
No.
very good night's sleep.
Yeah, I feel
it has
safe
been
with
a-
Zamo
Something
here
like that?
anyway.
Do
During
we
the night,
mark short rest on our character sheet at all? Is that what we do?
long rest actually.
Long rest. Nice.
Long rest. You get a full 8 hours. You all sleep through the night. Some of you sleep more eventfully than others, but we'll get to that in just a moment.
Do I actually take the log rest?
Yes, you click it.
Yep.
You have to
Yeah,
take,
and
like,
then
take
confirm
long
it.
rest. You have to click it again to confirm.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Cool.
So, during the night, Zenfire,
Yes.
Sucked in.
you have a dream.
Ooh. Is Damo
You
in
are-
my dream?
No.
Oh.
In your dream, you are standing on what looks like a riverboat. You can see around you are elves and humans and halflings and dwarves and tieflings and people of all races. All of them dressed to the nines in fabulous suits and in very well-tailored dresses, and their hair looks like it's taken hours to get done. They're all dressed to impress, if you will.
Yes.
And you look down at yourself and you can see that you are dressed in a very nice 3-piece suit.
Nice.
Very clean white suit, black tie, grey vest. Sorry, clean white shirt, grey vest with a black tie, black coat, black pants, perfectly shined black shoes. You can see you're wearing a pair of very nice white gloves. You could feel a pair of spectacles sitting on the end of your nose.
Nice.
As you mingle amongst this crowd of well-dressed and very clearly rich individuals. Over the course of the night, you slowly and slowly drink more and more, and eventually you are led to a chair that is sat beside what looks like a runway as you watch for 2 hours a fashion show. You watch as outfits from all across Toril are shown off, from the depths of Fae over to the jungles of Chult and back to the Sword Coast where you hail from. Slowly, everything sort of gets fuzzy as you keep drinking, and you close your eyes, and when you open them, everyone is gone, and it's just you in the room. You stand on the end of the runway, and sitting in front of you is a large lily pad with little like seaweed coming off the bottom, holding it off the ground. And you can see sitting hunched on this lily pad is what looks like a humanoid figure. You can see they have this like gray, wet skin. They wear almost like, it looks like an outfit made out of like a bunch of shells and other strange sort of like sea life. They have a frog-like face with this massive mouth that almost seems to curl all the way up to their forehead with sharpened teeth. Bald on the top with long, blonde, like wet, dirty hair that hangs around the side. You can see they have large frog-like eyes with single black beads in the middle, and they do not blink, and a large hooked nose. As they crouch there, they hold in their hand this large T-shaped staff with like shards of glass hanging off the wood, and they sort of just look at you and, yeah, give us the widdershins, would ya? Give us the widdershins. What do you do, Zenfire?
I'm still in my dream.
You appear to be.
Yeah.
You're dressed
Oh,
very
I know what
finely,
we're doing.
standing on the runway in front of this. The
Right.
room is empty except for this strange frog-like being.
Male, female, or
You
Understood.
genuinely cannot tell.
right? Roger that.
I will send an image through after the game for
Okay.
reference.
Yeah, cool. And give us the widow shin.
It said, "Give us the widdershins. Give me the
Widdershins.
widdershins." Come on now.
Okay.
Come on now. Hurry up. Widdershins. Widdershins.
I'm sorry. What are the widdershins?
The figure sort of like begins to frown at you and says, "I said, give me the widdershins." If you would like to make me an intelligence check, Zenfire, to see if you can sort of like go back through the catalog that are your
Yeah.
memories and see if you know anything about
So
what
that's
the
just
widdershins
the
might
intelligence
be.
at the top, isn't it? Not the
just
like the
general.
square,
You could, if your history is higher, I will allow you to make it a history check if your history is any higher.
Well, I've got a +3 for history, so that probably
Yeah,
is
go
high.
ahead and make it a history check then.
Okay. It is 14 total.
14. You know that the widdershins means to move in a counterclockwise direction.
Oh. Okay. So
The figure
after I
raises
note
one of
that
these.
they frown at me,
Yes.
I perhaps remember then, oh, the widdershins, you want me to move. So I start to, in my regal clothes, move in the counterclockwise direction.
Do you spin on the spot? Because the stage is small. It's like a runway that you would see at a fashion show. Or do you attempt to leave the stage? How do you move in a widdershins?
I think I might spin and perhaps walk down the runway as if I was the fashion show.
Just start
As you're
voguing, bro.
walking up and as you're walking up and down, you sort of begin to spin counterclockwise, and you hear clapping behind you. The Widdershins! The Widdershins! I love the... Wait a second. I hate the Widdershins. I don't like the Widdershins.
I immediately start turning
The figure
opposite
begins
way.
sneezing. The moment you stop turning counterclockwise, the figure stops sneezing and looks at you and says, "You use the Widdershins. Don't use the Widdershins." You
I
look
will
down
not
and
use the
watch
Widdershins.
as the figure holds their staff out towards you. The glass shards begin to glow with this like sickly green color. Your clothes begin to melt away. This beautifully crafted suit, this thing of magnificence, this perfectly tailored, perfectly fitting masterpiece of an outfit fades away, and you are dressed in a pair of budgie smugglers. Where your
But what colour?
beautiful black shoes were, on your left leg you have a single gumboot, and on your right you have a large red high heel.
Yeah, I do.
You wear a single monocle that is about 5 sizes too small for your eye over your left eye, and a pair of swimming goggles on the top of your head. Your chest is painted with a big purple and blue love heart with a lightning bolt through it. You feel embarrassed. You have never been dressed this poorly in your life. As you sort of look down at the clothes this creature
Don't look at me.
the creature looks up at you and says, "That's it. That'll teach you for using the Widdershins." Zenfire, you wake up in your bedroll, a cold sweat drenching you as you look down at the outfit you are currently dressed in. Not entirely different. And for a brief moment, for a single second before it fades away, you remember what it was like to have some semblance of what fashion was, and then it just drifts away from you.
Am I able to see Zenfire wake up in that startled state from where I'm centering?
He's not really startled when he awakens. He does awaken quickly, but he doesn't really shoot up, it seems. Unless Zenfire would like to, then Zenfire can. But
No, I think the silent
dream
scream
itself
was
does
just
not
in
seem
my
to
dream as the
startle
thing
him
that
awake.
wakes me up.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yes. But you do certainly see him awaken, and Zenfire, you sort of just instinctively sit up and look at the outfit before you. And then yeah, that
Briefcase, my friend. Remember the time when style was with us?
It never left us.
As you begin to recall a time when you still had your sense of fashion, a time so very long ago, that memory just gets harder and harder to hold on to. It feels like you're trying to latch on to a wet fish leaning over the boat, and the only thing holding you on the boat is your friend who's holding the collar of your shirt. It's just so slippery and difficult, and then it's just gone. It just slips away. You see nothing wrong with your sense of fashion. You've always been this fashionable. You look fantastic as far as you're concerned.
Excellent. Briefcase, you're quite right. We've always had it.
Now go back to sleep.
Yes, I think I might. For some reason, I feel like I've danced 1,000 dances. I don't know.
My legs hurt.
As you lay back down, Zenfire, you sort of like roll away, and there's this brief moment right before you close your eyes, right before you fall back to sleep, for half a second, where you just feel empty. Just a second.
Oh, again.
Hmm.
But anyway, you all awaken in the morning having had a fitful night of sleep. The day greets you
even me?
in this. you do manage to find a fitful sleep. Once you manage to lay your head back down appropriately. When you awaken, you find the various willow trees are still asleep. You all awaken not around 6, 7 a.m. ish. It's not overly like it's not early. You guys are skilled combatants and adventurers, so this isn't really an early hour for any of you to be awake. But you all awaken, you pack up your camp and have your breakfasts. During the morning, could I please have the wonderful, the effervescent Ms. Snack roll me a D8, please?
D8.
D8.
That one. 6.
6. Wonderful. So as you awaken, you all sort of just take a brief second to stretch your legs and do a walk around. And Ms. Snack, as your name suggests, you are always on the lookout for something tasty, something good. Like you just want something, something to fill your belly. You do see about 20 feet from where you slept as you wake up, you approach a brilliantly colored sunrise flower. As you sort of like, oh, that's nice, and you can smell, it almost smells like honey. And as you pick it, it begins to glow, almost like a lantern in a particular cone in front of you. As you just sort of hold this flower, it smells very tasty.
I'm about to do something stupid.
What?
That's how
You
every
can-
D&D session
You
gets
can do
better.
it. You can do whatever you want with that information.
Come on, do it.
It almost sounds like I'm just gonna shove it in my mouth and hope for the best.
Well, that
Well, there's a lot of things I could say there, and I'm just gonna. That being said, I'm gonna let it slide. I'm sure we can find a few things. Let's find breakfast.
Tim Tams. She's talking about Tim Tams.
Would you like to
Broke
eat the
razor.
flower, Miss Snack? You don't have to. I'm not
Why
saying you do.
not?
Of course, she's gonna eat the flower.
As you sort of look around, it shrinks down to your size. You sort of look around, make sure you sort of look back and forwards. You sort of look at the flower, look at your group sort of off in the distance. Luggage sort of glances over in your direction, looks away. Zenfire sort of looks in your general area, and as they pack up camp, and the moment none of them looking, you just just one bite, just the whole flower.
That seems legit.
It tastes like honey,
Damn.
but it has almost a spice to it, almost like chili. It's like a weird spicy honey. It's good. It's genuinely very tasty. It's this strange it tastes like freshly made, almost creamed honey, but with this like spice to it. It's pretty good actually. You don't regret that. You don't see any. You sort of look at your hands and feel your face and feel any other side effects from it. It just appears to be a tasty flower.
Oh, that's all right then.
Yeah, that's all.
Jesus
It's-
Christ.
I was
I
just
thought that
doing
was
a nice
going.
thing.
I thought that was going a
You all-
completely different direction. Hey,
You
So
all,
did
you
I.
all assumed I was gonna hurt you.
last time food was involved, there was custard damage. So
Well, true.
I was very. I had
No.
significant trepidation.
You thought this was
Hey,
the
wild
custard flower.
snacks, guys.
That's lovely.
So, what would you all like to do this morning? Sir Talavar, when you all awaken, is gone.
It's
Hang on,
gone.
Did he tell us how to get to the?
Who would have
hut?
carried his cage here?
I think I
Been
was.
lucky.
Who carried his cage here?
Luggage.
Okay,
Luggage did.
luggage. You find as you're going through like your pack, just your general goods, you find 3 things in your pack. You find a hastily scribbled map on a piece of very fine parchment that appears to. He actually did tell you, if you remember, on your way here, how to get to it. He did inform you guys how to get to your current
Yeah, he did.
location, but he
Let
did
me
draw.
check
It does
my
appear that
notes.
you find a hastily scrawled map that notes several locations. Up the top, it has written in very, very fine cursive, the land of hither. You can see he has drawn the Queensway, Slanty Tower, so Queensway where you started, Slanty Tower where you found him, Talamy Hill's current location. You see towards the north, he has also mapped out a location called Brigand's Tollway, and slightly to the west of that, Downfall. He has circled Downfall with an arrow and simply written, "This is where you will find a guide. Beware the hag."
Beware the hag.
Hmm.
If you open the letter, it is a few sentences. It is quite short. It simply reads, "My dearest saviors, I thank you all for the aid which you have given me. However, I fear that my mission is of the utmost importance. I must return to the Winter Queen and inform her of the horrible events that have transpired here. Do not worry. I have hopefully paid back your kindness with a gift that you may find use for yet. Should I make it back safely, I will be sure to return, hopefully with the aid you need. Sincerely,
Ooh.
Sir Talavar of the Winter Court." The third item you find, so that both of those are sort of like wrapped up in like they're sort of like circled up and wrapped with like a small piece of string. When you unwrap them, a third thing falls out. You find the third thing that falls out appears to be Talavar's longsword. Sits in your hand. It's about the size of a dagger for you. You
Dagger,
feel
I hear.
as you hold the dagger, luggage, you hear in your head, in the voice, like a deep, almost like courageous voice, you hear, "Your valor will not be forgotten," as you sort of like
Kind of
grip
sick,
the
not
dagger.
gonna lie.
So if any of you, whoever would like to keep the dagger, just so you know, luggage, to make it simple, this is a simple +1 dagger.
Ooh.
Appears to be a magical item.
Ooh.
Can we just back up and I've shared the map and the note with everybody else.
Yep.
So you said +1, but it doesn't say to what, does it?
think
So a
it's just +1
+1
all
dagger.
around.
So yeah, uncommon magical weapons. So there is a +1 weapon, which is any weapon with a +1 bonus. Is simply it has a few 3 main benefits. One, it is magical, so that means any creature that is resistant to damage from non-magical weapons is not resistant. So damage from this weapon is not halved for them. A +1 weapon also gains +1 to hit, so whatever your bonus to actually hit a target is +1 with this weapon, and it also gives you an extra +1 damage with any damage that you do with this weapon. It is you would know as an adventurer in the Forgotten Realms, you're not sure how common these sorts of magical weaponry or magical items are here in the Feywild, but you know that this is, if you were still at home on the material plane, this would be quite the powerful and expensive gift to be given. This is being given a magical weapon is not even one as simple as a dagger like this. It's not the most extreme or powerful of weapons, but it's still quite the princely gift to have been given by a friend. It's not something that anyone would want to part with lightly. You know that this sort of item would run you anywhere between 7,000 and 8,000 gold pieces were you to attempt to buy one. Where you come from, it is quite the gift for him to have left. But you also think that it has a lot of sentimental value that your knightly friend left behind his only weapon for you to use.
And
That
yet
is
the
so kind of him. It is
mm,
not good in my hands. I'm just gonna say that. I do not have a need for a dagger that's out of character. That is +1 because mine is the ones I use by my mind is +5 to attack and +3 on damage. So I'm good.
So
I can
I
just
will point
pop
out,
them
any of
motherfuckers out.
you, I'm pretty sure any. So I will point out, everyone in this group is proficient with daggers. So any of you could wield this weapon. Ranik is, if not for his psychic weapons, a rogue. But
mm,
I will say that should you give it to your wonderful sorceress friend, I will say that because of its size and its magical nature, it does not shrink to her size. So it would actually function as a +1 longsword
Ah.
in the
Ooh.
hands of your fairy
Ooh.
friend. However, your fairy friend is not trained with a longsword, meaning she would have disadvantage with all attacks with the longsword, and she would not gain her proficiency bonus whilst fighting with the longsword. However, one of you could
Okay.
attempt to train her to fight with a longsword if she has interest in that. Any of you proficient with it could take the time to train her. But yes, it is
I wonder if
a
I'm proficient.
+1. A magical weapon is quite the gift to have received. You know that many magical
Oh,
creatures,
I'm proficient.
such as, for example, hags, are resistant to damage from non-magical attacks. They would, to put it in terms of rules, take half damage from any non-magical weapon. So to be given a magical weapon, even a simple dagger, is quite useful.
I
So
I think
Muggle
at
weapons
present
no good.
I'm going to treat it with the reverence it deserves and open up my chest cavity and place it in there with the rest of the
Well, if you give it to
important possessions.
Racer, I can train her as we're walking because she can fly. So we can I can just pull out one of my psychic blades and train her as we're walking because I actually am proficient with longswords.
Yeah,
It
I'll
will
take it. Go on.
take, you know that it will take a day's worth of training. It will take at least a month or two to get her trained to your level. You know that you could maybe train her to a semi-proficient degree in a week. On the material plane. You're not sure how exactly time. You guys have figured out that time moves differently here. You don't know how. So you don't know how long you'll be here. I will just point that out. So it's up to you guys who wants to build.
It's
We
it's
got
not going to
time.
be it's not going to be soul bound. Is
No,
it?
it's actually
just,
not a. It is
yeah.
not an item that requires attunement. So any of you can swap it between you willy nilly, and anyone can sort of wield it.
Yeah,
So
and
if one of us were to wield it, it's more dagger size. That's what you're saying, as opposed to
Yes, it does not. Yes, it does not adjust
right.
size. So it was a weapon made for Sir Tulliver, so it is just a dagger size, unfortunately.
so how would I
But
mark it
yes,
in my
it does not
inventory at the
require
moment if
attunement
I'm
in
going
any
to?
way. So if you just go to add items
Mhm.
in your inventory, and you just put in, so all you want to type in is dagger, and if you just hit, you'll see you've got a few different tags there. If you just click the magical one, you'll actually see dagger +1 or +1 dagger pop up. It'll be written in green. Just go ahead and add that to your inventory. Magical daggers should already pop up in D&D Beyond for you. They're a pretty common magic item.
Add equipment. Sorry, I hit the wrong button.
No, it's okay. Take your time.
All right, so there's just dagger +1. Is that what you're
That's
talking
all
about?
it is. Just add that one.
All right.
Yep, that's the one. It's just a +1 dagger.
My mic just scared the shit out of me.
Do
I
you
just put my
hand
finger
this
on it.
weapon to anyone else to have a look at any point?
I haven't as yet, no. But I'm happy to pass it around the group for them to look at.
Sure thing.
If anyone wants to have a look at it.
I'm not interested in looking at it, but thank you.
I am
If
okay
you
with
want
looking at it, even though there's no reason for me to look at it, but that's just because I'm fascinated with daggers.
Indeed.
Ranik, you take it. You can see that it's obviously made as a longsword, so there would need to be a small bit of adjustment on your part, but not much of one. It's well balanced. It's a well-made, very clearly a fine, well-made weapon. As you grab it, and the moment that Luggage's hand leaves it, you hear in your head, "Your valor will not be forgotten."
Ooh, that's cool.
You don't know what the hell that's about.
I freak out. And go. Is this something with my psychic powers?
And then I'll
You-
explain the note and the map when he says that.
Yes. So yes, it
To
appears
the
you
whole
guys have
group.
a map to where you might be able to find a guide, and also it appears where you might be able to find one of the 3 hags.
It sounds like it's Racer's size. So if you want to go ahead and Race, if you want to inspect it, Snack, if you want to inspect it and go ahead and train up with it, if it's going to be best suited for you, then I am happy to keep using my mace. I think, Ranik, you owe Sir Tolliver an apology when we see him next, after the way you treated him initially. And I think we should agree to give him his sword back if he wants it, if we see him again.
I don't think I need to apologize. I was just doing my due diligence, but okay. You don't just trust everybody you walk up to, Luggage. If
You've
we
gotta
did,
see the
we'd
good
be
in
dead. Sorry for being this sense of reason. This is all in character, by the way. Under my breath as I'm walking away.
Oh, I assumed it was.
Yeah, I'm just
Sorry.
staring at him, not
I
responding.
took that very personally.
Packing away the dagger, you all prepare to head out. What will you all be doing with your day today?
Well, if Racer is ready, I'll start training her with
I'm
the
snacking on
longsword.
flowers.
Oh my god!
Can you practice the
You
longsword
find no
while
other
you're?
flowers. You
Oh, damn.
you only find the one flower. Yeah,
Nothing to stuff
sorry.
your mouth
You
with.
only,
So
you only
let's
actually
get this
find the
sword.
one.
Let's get this sword train done.
I think we've lost.
Fine.
I think we've lost Egg again, guys. Dante, can you give
no,
me a
Egg's
new
just back. No, he's just back in. We've been talking to him just off for the last 5-10 minutes. Like,
Okay.
yeah. Egg, I know you're there
me
now.
Oh, excellent. I
Indeed
just want to
we
make sure I'm
can.
getting the audio. Sorry to interrupt.
Look, we had it
No,
under
all good.
control.
So
Yeah.
Egg, we've got
Yeah.
Albert, we've got a map from Sir Tolliver as you catch up to the group, a note from him thanking us for our service, and this sword
Oh,
that one of us, this dagger that one of us may wield, +1 dagger. Currently, Miss Snack is looking to train it as a longsword. Would you like to have a look at it?
yeah. Sounds cool.
As you take the weapon, I forgot that he left, so I get to do it. As you take the weapon, you hear in your head, "Your valor will not be forgotten."
Can we just keep passing it along so
catchy.
we hear him say that over and over again? Can we get a can we get a
That's
clip of that?
cool. I want wrestling. I pass it back to Luggage.
And I'll-
Luggage, as you grip the dagger and his hand leaves it, you hear in your head, "Your valor will not be forgotten."
Don't forget, you have to hand it back to Racer.
And I will just.
Actually, I wouldn't mind having a look at this dagger. What's
I'll
it all
hand it
about?
over to. I'll hand it over to
It's
Zenfire.
a mighty
Inspect.
small sword that's long.
As you hand it to Zenfire, you hear, "Your valor will not be forgotten."
Ooh,
It's slowly dying
Like
now.
Yeah, the recording's running out of batteries.
I'm quite chuffed with this message, but I pass it back to my Warforged friend for safe storage.
Oh my god, just give it to Racer. I regret saying
Your
this.
valor will not be forgotten.
Is no one gonna give it to me?
And I'm now going to hand it back to Miss Snack to practice her longswording with.
Miss Snack,
And
you
what does
hear
Miss Snack
nothing.
hear? Oh,
Oh,
Miss Snack
nice.
hears nothing. Is there a law reason for
mm.
this? Is it just because the DM's sick of saying that sentence? Who knows?
No, I think I know the answer because she's actually had it once before, and you said it when you handed it to her. Oh no, but you said
Well,
it.
actually-
No, but it did it. No, actually, no. I
Like,
take
heard
that
it
back.
like
Because
10
we all heard
times.
it. We all heard it more than
I'm
once.
pretty sure her
sorry.
valor has been forgotten.
Yeah,
yeah.
you've all heard it more than once for whatever reason.
Yeah,
I
sorry, take
apologize
that
if
back.
I did
Oh,
say it previously for Ms. Snack. I apologize. I shouldn't have.
Oh, you may
It
not
says
have.
nothing
You may
when
not
it's
have.
handed to Ms. Snack.
There was a lot of
That
them.
was my mistake if I did.
But you do
Do
hear
I
it
just
just
add a
days
like
normal
after
very
it
longsword to
sounds
my
like-
inventory?
+1
Yes, you would add it
longsword.
to your
Yep.
Plus one.
Go ahead and
Magic.
add a +1 longsword. It should be written in green. It'll be a magic item. You can go ahead and take that
Yeah.
weapon though if you'd like
This
it.
is common.
And just make sure you
Yep,
remove the
it's
dagger,
done.
please.
Yep, I'm getting
Luggage,
rid of
so
it
we
out of
don't-
my
Dagger.
We
inventory.
don't end up with duplication.
Yep, getting rid of it.
Oh, good.
Item deep.
So
Stupid.
hanging the
map.
magical longsword
Yeah.
on her fairy-sized hip, you're not used to fighting with this type of weapon. You're not entirely sure how you go about it, but the magic of the sword, as you sort of like draw it out of its scabbard, the magic seems to almost like correct you as you sort of like you slash it through the air to feel how it feels in your hand, Miss Snack. And the sword, as your hand seems to like dip from the weight, the sword almost seems to pick your hand back up and almost like slightly, the magic seems to correct your swings and your stabs ever so slightly.
Oh, so strange actually shouldn't take us much longer so you have assistance.
Yes, the training is much easier with a magical weapon. So-
Where are we heading towards, though? Sorry, we've started off walking, but
You guys haven't
We're
left
walking towards the
yet.
cottage.
I'll
We
assume
haven't
you guys
left.
have been
We need
traveling
to-
during this interaction.
Yes.
There appear to be, based on the map that you've been given, 2 locations that you have not yet visited. Brigand's Tollway, which you were already informed by Sir Tulliver, is the location of one Agden Longscarf, the most notorious brigand in all of Prismeer, the leader of the brigands who first encountered you. And then beyond that, the Bullywug settlement of Downfall, where you will find, as she has been named to you previously, one Bavlorna Brightstraw, the I believe middle sister in the Hourglass Coven, and also a guide should you seek one, who supposedly can lead you to further areas of Prismeer beyond Hither itself.
And to be correct, that's the one that we have the maps drawn to for us, right?
Yes, you have a map drawn to. So the map lists the Queensway, which is where you started, Slanty Tower, the current location of Telemy Hill, Brigand's Tollway, and Downfall. There is like a couple of like rivers drawn and like a couple of like a lake drawn in the top right hand corner. Like he's vaguely sketched out the map of Hither that I did send you guys. Like he's vaguely drawn out a very simple version of that, so your players do it.
Yeah.
So your characters do have a sort of like a drawn, hastily but still a drawn version of that map.
I am
before
glad
we
I'm not
depart-
easily distracted anymore because that rock in the pond there, that outcrop right there, I really want to go to that. Just player wise.
The one far north.
Yeah, far north in the northeast corner.
Jade, just before we leave, I'd like to make sure that on our way out that we thank our hosts, both Tree and Goblin, before departing.
The trees all appear still asleep, but appear to be still asleep. But if you approach Jingle Jangle looks at you and says, "Oh yes, you're very welcome, Jingle Jangle. Thank you for your help. And should you need anything else from Jingle Jangle, please return to Jingle Jangle, and Jingle Jangle would be happy to assist in any way that you need."
Or if the
It is a
trees are
pleasure
still
meeting
asleep.
all-
Sorry, Jingle Jangle.
No,
don't,
please.
interrupt.
If the trees are all still asleep while everything's being packed up, just like to make a thanks with rocks or bits of timber so that they see it when they wake up.
I'll say you can definitely do that from like there was like you guys used like a quarter of the firewood. There was so much. You guys spelled out like thank you with the remains of the firewood and a few rocks.
We can
that
write
you
them a
find.
paragraph.
It's pretty.
Yes, but we need to make sure we do that in the appropriate terminology, which I believe is something along the lines of like, "Cheers, mate."
Cheers, Cobber.
Good day,
We'll
champion.
spell out. We'll
Cheers,
spell
Cobber.
out Cheers, Cobber in
Cheers, Blue.
with timber.
Yeah, you spell out cheers Cobber with timber.
Yep,
Oh my god.
on our way out.
Easy as
It's
yes.
important.
Can we
We
use
need-
slang
we
that
need
I
to follow the
understand?
No,
It's
there's no
another
fun.
version of mate. It's just not as often used. It's a more of an old English term.
Yeah. And cheers is just thank you, obviously.
Yeah.
Cheers is easy. So, you all.
So, in terms of our direction, I think we should head.
I say we just follow the path you gave us.
Yeah,
Well,
we have to
if
go
we-
by the
right, if we look-
brigands.
If we're
And
looking
I
for
really-
long staff, then we have to go to brigands anyway.
Yeah, and I really don't like
So-
bullies.
Getting to Downfall, you have basically 2 options as far as you can see it. You can head straight to Brigand's Tollway, through Brigand's Tollway into Downfall. That'll take, so you guys can travel about 3 miles every hour or so, and that's roughly 12 miles away. So it'll take you about 4 hours to get to Brigand's Tollway, and then about another 2 hours from there to get to Downfall. So altogether about 6 hours. Or if you don't want to go to Brigand's Tollway, you can cut between where Slanty Tower and Brigand's Tollway is, go up and around the Queensway, and approach from the south as opposed to the east. You can avoid Brigand's Tollway, but that'll take you about 10 to 12 hours, roughly. It'll take you about double the amount of time. It'll take you the entire day, essentially.
I am
Right.
down with either one, to be honest. Because if we're walking a full day, that means it's a full day of training with the racer. And then if we go the other way, we might
Yeah,
run
good
into
point, good
people.
point. Decisions.
Even
people.
even though I think it'd be more fun if we went to we ran to a settlement.
Just so I'm clear, like the brigand named Agden Longstaff is in Brigand's Tollway or in Downfall?
You just know that appears to be his Brigand's Tollway appears to be his base of operations, like his home for
Right.
him and his brigands.
Gotcha.
Whether or not he will be there
But yeah,
if you pass through,
he
you're
may or may
unsure.
not be there.
But that is
Yep.
that is where he makes his home, as far as you're aware.
Yeah.
It is
And I
a
was actually
it
written
is a
down in my notes from
giant
the other week.
80-foot diameter and 30-foot high tree stump that is like the tree has been cut down, so it's about 80 feet in diameter and about 30-foot high, with like a bunch of like crisscrossing causeways with wooden planks that all seem to converge on the stump. That seem
All right, I'm good. So have we decided a route we're gonna take or not? Because if we haven't, I have a way for us to decide. All right, evens. I'm doing run on D4. Evens, we go the quick way. Odds, we take the long way.
Before you do that, does anyone have a preference, or is everyone ambivalent?
I don't know.
Yeah, let's go the
I'm
quick
happy
way.
enough to go. Yeah, I'm happy to go to Brigland's.
Sounds more fun.
Okay, let's go the quick way. That's
Cool.
all I need here.
I'm just following along with
So-
Zenfire, whichever way he heads.
is yes. You all
Ah.
begin to head in through the swamp once again. You descend down Telemy Hill, which briefly stops to and leans over to allow you off. And you once again begin meandering your way through the dusty bog. Could I please have
Hmm.
who's feeling lucky, punks?
Oh,
Um,
I am. I'm a
this
punk.
guy.
I feel lucky.
Not the shit rolls I've had tonight.
Okay, Ranik, could you please roll me a D8, sir,
Oh,
for the first
Oh.
4 hours of your
Oh.
adventure?
0.
that's a 3. How would I get a 0? This is not even a 0.
It just freezes
And-
on the screen.
dice.
Oh, a 1 with a -1.
Could you please roll me a second D8?
Me?
Oh, don't roll 8 in
Ranik.
this one, mate. Come on.
8, 1. It's a 1.
You were feeling
One.
lucky. I hope those are lucky numbers. Hope 4's a lucky number.
If I roll real dice, it's different, but I can't roll real dice on webcam. It's not fair.
We trust you.
Yeah, do
Guys
it.
already said do
Of
it, and he
course you
trusts your
can.
roll.
It does not
Yeah.
bother me
Yeah,
whatsoever.
feel free to use real dice.
Cool.
It's too
Second
late now,
camera.
though.
Oh, he's going for real dice.
Sorry, I'm
can't-
just making a quick little.
I don't think he's.
note
I
down of what
don't
he
think he's going to
rolled.
let you re-roll though. I don't think he's
I'm
going to.
Oh,
let
I'm not gonna let
re-roll.
you reroll now. No.
I have very ornate metal dice for this.
So-
Awesome.
About 3 or so hours into your journey, you all stepping through the bog. Oh, could I please have? I need one more roll. Let me just quickly fill in.
Oh, he's getting the dice
Roll.
out. They are
Could
pretty cool
I-
little dice. I'm not going to lie.
I need to make. A
But
couple
here's the point. I got to find them all. I did just. I moved here and might have lost a few.
So,
And I moved.
Who's rolling what?
Yep.
as I did some quick rolls. As you guys travel, you watch as the water begins to lower. You begin, and it is at a depth of around 4 feet, quite deep. Oh, that's a nice die. But over the course of the day, it lowers until it is no more than a couple of inches. You're not sure if it's simply because you're traveling into an area that is slightly shallower, or if, once again, the water itself is magical.
I believe it was at the whim of our DM, was it not?
Yes, it most certainly is, sir.
Yeah.
So, After 3 hours or so, you find sitting up against a tree what looks like an 8-foot square wooden raft. It's just
Ooh.
sort of like jammed slightly under the water against a tree. You can see that the mast on it is snapped and is nowhere to be seen. It is like stuck in the mud as the water level appears to be far too low for it.
Ooh, I like the looks of this.
Would any of you like to do anything about this?
I would like to, is it investigate to see if we can perhaps try and utilize this raft in some way?
I'll say
Yeah,
it's investigation, yeah, to look over the raft and see if it
Yeah.
works.
Cool.
I'm going to do the same. Keen to see if there's anything we can do with this raft or bring it with us, see how much it weighs, see how transportable it is.
Okay, both of you make me an investigation check, please.
Yeah, 12 from Luggage.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I was looking for dice.
I've got a +1, so 17 from me. From Zenfire.
17. So looking over it, the two of you discern that it is still floating. It is floatable. The water at the moment, you genuinely think that the water, either someone dragged it here into the mud and was traveling and left it behind for some reason, or the water has indeed sunk and it's just been stuck in the mud and can't be moved. You think you'll probably need like a 10-foot pole or some other tool to actually guide the raft, but it does appear to be waterproof and usable, and it weighs around 300 pounds. So I'll say 2 or 3 of you could carry this thing until such a time as the water does rise once again.
Will it carry my weight?
Should we not drag it?
It will carry... Yes, it will carry all of you. It looks sturdy. It looks very well
nice.
made. It is quite large as well. You could drag it if you wanted to.
Because we've got rope.
I'm
we
in the
can
middle
tie
of
around.
training. I would volunteer myself, but I'm in the middle of training somebody, so
Yeah, no,
That leaves 3 of us to.
You
I think
are-
we should
you are
bring it
busy.
with us. This looks like it could be handy.
I agree, my fine Warforged friend. I feel like we can utilize this.
Yeah,
This
it's the
water
nicest
is
thing to
rising
use.
up and down, and I think that when the water is high, this may expedite our travel and provide a
Excellent.
sturdy platform for Ranik to train.
Yes. Or like Karate Kid style, an unstable platform as she gains. Oh no, she flies. Never mind that whole reference. He's got wings.
Sweep
Jay,
the wing.
before we
nose
do,
also I'm very
anything-
good on boats.
Can we see any sign of a pole or something that could be used for one of those 10-foot
Yes, can we fashion one
poles
from something?
around this raft
Make
where it's stuck?
me a perception check.
Oh, you just keep
Make me a
Perception.
perception check.
That's
Yeah,
better.
sorry, you gotta
18.
Hey, quick question, Jay.
18. So the two of you sort of wander off in 2 different directions and manage to each come back with a long luggage. You find an
sticky-
actual 10-foot pole, a long metal, like maybe iron 10-foot pole that looks like it was maybe actually made for this, with a small like
Sharon.
point on the end. Not a weapon, but certainly good enough to do it. And Zenfire, you managed to track down a long, around 12, 13-foot stick that looks stable enough to serve. You sort of snap some little like twigs off the side of it, and that looks like it might serve your purpose quite well, actually.
Nice.
As if on cue, it takes you guys maybe 30 minutes to do all of this. As if on cue, the water level begins to, you notice, has been slowly rising and is about a foot higher than it was previously. It's about a foot or so off the ground at the moment, and the raft itself begins to start floating again. There's not enough water that it can properly float, but there's enough that the raft itself is floating without any weight on it.
All right. Before we continue on that, I've just looked in the add items and I see there's a 10-foot pole in there. So for ease of reference, instead of doing
Oh,
custom
yeah.
ones,
Both
should we
Both
each
of you,
just,
yeah,
should we
both
each
of you
just
can go
add
ahead
a
and add
10-foot
a
pole?
10-foot pole.
Yep.
You most
Is that
certainly
in
can. Go ahead and
backpack
add it.
or in equipment?
I
it'd
found it
be
in equipment.
Equipment, roger
Are
that.
they're not collapsible
Not a
though,
problem.
so like how do you get through doors?
No, they are not collapsibles.
We'll figure that out when we
Well,
find
you
the
probably
door.
don't bring them inside. 10-foot pole is not really something that people are not really a commodity that people are really trying to get their hands on.
And is the water level
Everyone wants
rising?
that 10-foot pole.
rising to the point that we can get on this raft and start using it on our journey?
Not
Has it
really.
risen?
One or two of you, maybe, but not all of you at the moment. The water's not really at that point quite yet. Maybe around 1.5, 2 feet, possibly, but not quite yet.
Well, I reckon we tie one of your
As you
ropes
all sort of-
around this and drag it until it gets high enough. Skim it over the water.
Okay, you tie a rope around it, and sure enough, it is easy enough to sort of drag behind you as it floats on top of the foot or so of water. As you travel over the course of the next hour and a half, the water does get to about 2.5, 3 feet tall, and you all manage to climb up onto the raft and begin using your two 10-foot poles to steer it through the swamp in the direction you need to go. It expedites your travel quite a bit, and those of you who are not steering get the chance to train or relax at your leisure. Another 3 hours into your journey, you
I'm like
believe
playing
that you are
music.
getting close to Brigand's Tollway. You know it should be about 6.5, 7 hours away, and you can tell that you're traveling down what, based on the sort of like clearing area or the wide open area, you presume you're traveling down what would normally actually be a proper river on the raft. When you see walking towards you is a building. It is 2 foot tall. It appears to be a 2 foot tall building with what looks like what would normally be a basement sitting above the water. You can see underneath the building are hundreds of fleshy human-like legs that individually waddle its way along. You can see hanging out the front of this large building is like a pole with a sign. You can see on the sign it has an image of a tankard. As it gets close to you, the building stops moving and begins to lower itself so that the door is maybe an inch or two above water level. And as you pass by it, you can see that the sign reads, "In at the end of the road." You can hear noise inside. It sounds like people are like drinking
nice.
and having fun in here. Do you guys want to keep going, or would you like to stop off?
Stop.
Come on, we gotta stop. So
Yeah,
out of
we gotta
character
stop.
here.
If we stop, can we hitch our raft to this traveling inn so it does not float
Mm.
away?
Yeah, you can see that there are 5 or 6 other rafts and boats tied to like the back of it. There's sort of like a specific
Boom.
spot where you can do that as you sort of like step up and into it. One by one, you all step up into this inn. You can see that this inn is a simple 40-foot by 50-foot large room. Along the left-hand side is a long wooden bar. In the vast majority of the room is taken up by circular and square tables, some larger, some smaller, with maybe 20 or 30 people total. Quite a few people spread out through the room. You can see a large fireplace in the back is warming the entire interior. It's quite cozy in here. You can see that there are several small stained glass windows that are very dirty, letting a little bit of light in, but they're primarily two sconces from the roof light it. In the back right-hand corner, there is a staircase that appears to lead up and a door next to it that's simply labeled "Staff only, do not enter." You can see people coming and going from there sporadically and hear noises in there. You presume it's some sort of kitchen or food prep area. You can see standing behind the bar as all of you enter is an elderly, what looks to be human female. You can see that she has like short red hair that's going grey at the tip. She wears a very dirty apron over the top of common clothes. You can see she has like a little bit of a mustache coming in, but no one seems to be wanting to point it out. She's maybe mid to late 50s. You can see that her skin looks like leathery and worn. Like she looks like she's been around the block a few times. Like she's seen her fair share of trouble. She has a few scars and cuts up and down her arms. You can see that she single-handedly serves several patrons as a few younger humans and elves duck back and forwards, bringing meals to various tables. As you all enter the inn at the end of the road. It is 1 a.m. is this where we would like to finish up for the night?
Yeah, this is a good
Yes.
point to stop.
Fuck, you know
I got
us.
Overwatch to play, my guy.
I can see the coffee's kicking in. Dynasty's is awake now.
Dude, when I first
It's
when I
hopping.
first got on, I wanted to die. I was like, "Oh, brother, I want to go back in. I want to go back. Rewind the
Thank you.
tapes."
Thank you for staying up. No, Jay, that was excellent. Thank you. Oh, it's
That's
just the it was worth the price of admission for the egg talking to the ants.
Anytime.
That was funny.
Yes. Oh, so
Oh,
good.
that was
We
well
need a clip
done.
of that for your stream board for your stream home.
Oh, I'm totally gonna clip like a certain like catchphrase for the clipboard.
Oh,
I
Jim
think,
Valour.
don't you?
I'm trying to think of
Okay.
which one you're talking about because there was quite a few. in
Your
there.
valor will not be forgotten, but
Oh,
clearly it
the
will
Valor.
Yeah.
Your
I
valor
didn't
will
need to
not
say
be
that.
forgotten.
Oh, that's a
Except
good
for-
one.
be. I feel
Except
we
for
should
Mizz
clip that
next.
every time Jay joins the stream. Bang, there it
Valor,
goes.
that'll be forgotten.
Yes. Mediated Emu
Ugh.
soundbite. Got it. I'm on it. I'm on it.
Sounds
Lovely.
good.
No, that was excellent. Thank you, everybody. And now I'm gonna wait another week till it's Monday again. Best part
I
is you've
just want-
given me something to look forward to on Mondays, Jay, because Monday's not normally the happiest day of the week for things to
I
look
just
forward
want
to.
Liliana to do some like fan art of Damo the Bogan Tree or Big Kev.
Well, she did one
I
tree already. She
actually-
sketched up one already.
Interestingly enough, her desk is beside mine in the office.
Yeah.
And I did glance over during that whole section and did see her sitting with her art tablet in front of her, and her laptop was just a bunch of pictures of what I think were willow trees. And she's
Nice.
currently looking at me with a very like I've caught her sort of expression. So I think that
It was supposed to be a surprise, Jay.
Well, the early
I
sketch she
always
tucked in
remember
was
surprises
really
about like that.
well done.
Dude, Lily
Yeah.
and Bean were making me laugh so hard in chat
Oh
at the
my
beginning
God.
of it. I had to mute
Oh.
myself so many times. I was dying.
That's what Bean's got. Like the tree
That's
slowly raises its
good.
hand, so I started doing this across the screen to her. It was classic. Oh no, that
So
was
right,
too
you went
good.
there at the start before the stream, and the spell that I chose from leveling up.
Oh yeah, you suck. You're gonna need to explain to him what it is, though. Or you can't. Don't keep him waiting.
Well, it's to commemorate our first ever D&D stream.
Oh, that was a good hot minute ago
Yeah.
when I was still new in Ohio.
So
Yep.
yeah, it is. The new spell is Fog Cloud.
And I said it's just going to give you someone to talk to.
Bean's like fog.
Yeah, I just realized she wouldn't have heard any of that because it was all before we started.
So now we have Bogan Tree. I'm glad I know what Bogan means.
Wait, where did you get Bogan Tree from? Oh,
Tree's
sorry.
rebellion.
The message I
Oh,
had
shit.
accidentally scrolled up
yeah,
on
no,
OBS
yeah.
because I was raiding. That was my fault. I just saw
There you
Bean's
go.
message. Sorry, I just remember. Wait, where did they get there from? How did we get to that?
Bogan
And
Tree.
yeah,
Bogan Tree is fog.
Dante's bloody ticker with the. I had to zoom in because my video is quite small. So I had
Bogan
to,
Tree, what the
Yeah,
hell?
because I've got the audio, like I'm actively monitoring the audio, and I went, why is Dante's screen doing that? And I zoomed in and went, you shit, you put a ticker with
I
all the
found a new toy.
goddamn names.
Anyone who likes playing with OBS and broadcasty stuff, you should totally check this toy out. It's called Here to Record. It's a website.
Can you put it in chat? Because
Here and then the number 2 and then record.
Maybe
Hence
chuck it in
why I like
Discord because
the
they're about
bar.
to raid out. I must just
yeah.
say,
Chris,
'cause
graphic
all the
overlay.
mics are still open, so just everybody in chat, thank you for hanging out. Thank you, Bean, for being the Uber mod again. Thank you, Liliana, for chucking another picture already in Discord. And I look forward to catching you all next time around.
Oh,
And I
where's the
can't
picture?
wait till next Monday. See you, chat.
Yeah,
Bye.
Bogan Tree.
Bye.
Oh my goodness. Dude, you outdid yourself, Jay. Thank you.
That was amazing, Jay.
Oh no, thank you all. Thank you all for letting me be such an idiot. It's always
How-
always
what?
good fun.
You be the idiot.
Right,
we
I mean,
got
you've
stuck
met
on
up,
a
yeah?
key.
Like-
We got stuck on an iron rusty key for like an hour. Like, what are you talking
I
about?
still
that
think
was,
that was
it's
half
that
the
was
session.
so. Yeah,
Damo
you
said it
can-
would be
so
important, so you know.
Dude, I cannot
genuinely,
believe.
my favorite part about planning D&D is you plan out a game of D&D as a DM, and when you've been doing this as long as I have, you will plan out a game of D&D, and you're like, here are the important points. Here are the points that the players will get hung up on, and those are never the points the players get hung up on. They get hung up on the most pointless, like one little line, and they're like, what was that again? Say it again. Just because I maybe accidentally changed tone when I said it, or I took a pause at the wrong moment, and they were like, must have been important. He emphasized that. I didn't, but the players are damn determined to make something of it. So
So
Great.
please,
Love it.
please humor me this. What point did you think we would get stuck on and not the key?
I knew you guys would get stuck on the trees. 110% I knew you guys would get stuck on the trees. I thought you guys would try to interact with Jingle Jangle more. But you didn't, and that's cool. I also prepped for you guys to actually leave a lot earlier than you did. I didn't know if you guys were going to rest or not, so I did prep enough that you guys could actually get all the way to Brigand's Tollway and beyond tonight. And there were a few other things that I won't spoil that you might have encountered there, but those
And we
will,
may
those will
yet.
come up, and I'll point them as they come up.
Thank you for not spoiling
Uh,
anything. No,
yeah,
I was pretty keen to get a rest after nearly dying upon entry and you allowing that spell to be cast. So I was pretty keen for spells and stuff to get regenerated. Just,
Never
good.
know
No,
when
that
Latte might
was
help
so good.
again.
Yeah, and maybe next time we'll use it correctly and just tie a rope around me instead of let me flap off. Just the giant flapping robot. No, that was so
I will,
good.
if you want Spar, I will send through the in at the end of the road images and Jingle Jangle and a few other ones if you'd like that I
Please,
do
I
have
must see what
available.
this
For...
legendary
Yes.
creature Jingle Jangle looks
Yeah,
like.
please do. And chuck it in if you just chuck it in the
And
D&D Discord,
the-
and then I'll just add it to the slideshow before next week.
Yeah, this strange frog-like creature, the Zenfire saw in his dream. I actually have an image of
Yeah, I
of
wanna
that
see that
creature as
thing.
well.
Awesome.
So
And he
I'll
hasn't
actually
shared
send
that
it
dream
to
with
you.
us.
To be honest, that sounded like a hag the hag that stole his sense of fashion.
Well,
Mm.
who knows? It could have been
feel like
anything.
that is possible.
It could have been,
That's
but I
certainly
think
a
we need.
possibility.
Well, we don't know it though. He hasn't shared that dream with us. I just saw him wake up with a
He is
start, and then he
not.
started murmuring to me, and I told him to
Well,
go back to
see,
sleep.
it is forgotten to me almost. It slipped away, Joe said.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh no, the dream didn't. Your
Oh, okay,
sense,
cool. So my sense of
the
like,
memory,
thinking that I had no sense of fashion.
Yeah, like a memory that you had from when you were much younger, where you did have a sense of fashion. You started. Not only have you started to lose your sense of fashion, even the memories of when you had it have started to actually slip from your mind. You're beginning to lose parts of your memories to whatever this strange curse. That's great. Yeah, no,
that's a fun
I
character.
stuffed up. Jingle Jingle's only supposed to refer to themselves in the third person, and I kept accidentally slipping.
Oh, did you?
So I
didn't notice you did.
No, you did the third a lot.
Yeah.
You're too critical of yourself there, Jay.
Yeah, you
Come
really
on.
are.
Yeah,
It's like this.
beautiful
It's like,
bastard.
I
you.
did it a lot, but I noticed. Oh no, I just noticed a couple of times because I'm normally a lot better because I'm like, if I'm sitting at a table and I slip up, most people don't notice. But I'm on stream and I'm like, if someone watches it back, they'll know. But no, I've been out.
if they
a bit out of
really care
practice.
that much, they're probably in the wrong
voices and
place.
that.
If they're
Yeah,
going to
gotta
be that
get
pedantic. Nah, man, that was the most excellent. And hopefully you eventually get a rest after
Slide
all
this
of
one
it.
in. So
epic
Yeah.
timetable you're keeping.
yes, Wednesday will be. I was gonna say Wednesday now, so that'll be a late one again. Good fun.
So
Oh
full-time-
god, don't start me
full-time
with raids.
DM.
There's a new raid coming to Destiny 2 because with this new Witch Queen
I know, man. I'm pumped.
DLC
It's gonna be
dropping,
good.
I'm pondering if I'm gonna get it or not, just for the fact that I need to do the raid. I have to do the
I
raid.
pre-ordered it about a
Look, I
month
used to
ago.
be a speedrunner for it. I have to. I have to do it, but I don't want to. I don't like the game
You're
anymore.
obliged. I still
It's
like
not
it. I
about
still
like,
have fun
it's
with it.
about
I haven't
need.
played it. Yeah, I haven't played it in about 2 months. I go back to it every now and again, but briefly.
I used to go back to it a lot when I only played on Xbox. But ever since I got my PC, I was like, why would I go back to Destiny if I have a plethora of other games to play?
That's fair.
Because
I
release.
tend to go back at the start of every season or expansion. I'll hit 100 and then I'll stop again. I'm like, cool, see you in 3 months.
I think the last season that I actually tried was when the Europa dropped. I sadly had a girlfriend at the time and she did not like this, but I took a day off of work when the raid came out and I did the 24-hour because you know how when a raid first comes out, how it's harder and it makes it towards light level caps and you're always at disadvantage.
Yeah.
And so you had a week to prep for it. That whole week, I would get off of work, play Destiny till about 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning, go to sleep for 2 hours, get up, go to work. I did that.
I did a similar thing with the newest Final Fantasy expansion when Endwalker dropped. I cleared a week off my schedule to just play that expansion, and that's all I did every day for a week. I did nothing else with my time. I canceled D&D. I called in sick to everything, and I was like, I'm just gonna grind this MMO. It was
Is that why you were sick?
it's a good time.
Yeah, the vomiting.
No,
It
I was
wasn't real, it
actually
just a
just
game.
sick.
Felt
No.
for you, say.
I don't think I
Jay,
could
I've
ever
just looked at that
cancel
picture that
D&D
you
for
posted.
anything
It's
else.
horrific.
Yeah, it's a nasty. It's
That's the
it's a nasty bugger.
chilling. Yeah.
It's
Oh, Jesus.
yeah, such a happy, fun, whimsical campaign, and having dreams about that thing and her widdershins.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wait,
I'm surprised that we haven't gotten to combat yet because I'm gonna be honest, I like role playing, but D&D, I love combat, and I'm not gonna force it. But I really want to use my psychotic daggers, guys. really do.
I'm sure it's coming.
No, if I can avoid it, I actually don't want to get in.
But yeah,
combat
for anyone-
in this one, to be honest,
No, me too. I'm trying to.
I'm actually
Would
quite
you
enjoying not
navigate?
being in combat.
For anyone who didn't pick up on it, is something that appears in the later Alice in Wonderland novels. It's a German word, Widersinnen, which basically means against the way, so counterclockwise. And one way to I guess you foil a Jabberwock is to sprint counterclockwise around it, and it will
A
it will make the
Jabberwock.
Jabberwock dizzy,
Yes.
and it will make it fall asleep. So yeah,
I'd actually typed it in chat because I knew Dante wasn't there at the time. That I thought it meant anti-clockwise, the Widdershins.
yes.
Yeah, I
Widdershins.
did not know this at all.
But
I
I
had
wasn't
no
going to
idea what
say
that
it
meant.
and
I had
interfere
no
with any
idea.
of the stuff you're saying.
I was so confused. I was like, "Is this another word I just don't know? Is this a slang thing?"
No,
I'm
it's
so
a
confused.
It is a very old word that appears in a lot of like
Mm.
Celtic mythology and that, and then was very briefly. I think it was I can't even remember the name of the novel. The third novel.
Well, no
in
wonder why Spar knew it.
that whole Alice in Wonderland thing. Briefly, I think there's one line that mentions the Widdershins, and it never gets used or comes back up again because the Jabberwock's dead by that point. So it's just never addressed again. And this one D&D module was like, let's use it.
We'll
Let's-
chuck it in there.
Let's use it.
All right, guys. As
Yeah.
much as I'm loving this, I am going to wrap up.
Yeah.
It's 1:15
Yeah,
for some of you, and it's 1:15 for me. So I can't wait till next Monday.
It's 9:15 a.m. for me. I got to eat breakfast and go lay back down.
No worries at all. All right, have a great week, and I'll catch you guys when I catch you next. Yeah, no, thank you again. That was so much fun.
Sure. See you,
All
everyone.
right, see y'all.
you-
Bye.